So imagine this is your hand or your finger. So imagine you are flying into the tree accidentally. Probably everybody wonders which drone is the best. Today I will show different models which have different features. And actually the combination of all those features would make a perfect drone. And these drones do exist, but probably they would cost more. I will show why some of the features these three drones have, if combined together, would make a perfect drone. So here this drone has GPS positioning, which is important if you are not able to control the drone during the wind, and even in slight wind. The drones that do not have GPS positioning would still drift a little bit and would make controlling the drone difficult. Then this drone has a screen on the control, and this is a good feature because then you don't have to worry about downloading apps which with time get outdated or are not supported on different phones. And then this drone has a good design, a safe design, which makes it less dangerous flying closer to people and won't hurt the person who is flying it. And also this kind of design helps to avoid obstacles better. Even if such a drone hits an obstacle, there are more chances that the drone will still keep flying, while these two drones, if they hit something, probably they would fall because the propellers would hit the obstacle and the drone won't be able to fly. And when it comes to photography or recording high quality videos, of course the video quality would matter and the image stabilization would matter. For example, this drone has a gimbal, which is mechanical image stabilization. When the drone moves around, this camera stays balanced. It is balancing the image, so there's no shaking in the image. Now maybe it's not very important to have a gimbal, because now the cameras have internal gyroscopes that are also able to balance the horizon and stabilize the image. So even if you don't see the gimbal, which is mechanically stabilizing the camera, there could be some internal mechanisms that do stabilize the image electronically or thanks to some gyroscope inside. So let's now demonstrate each feature and how they work in comparison to the drones that don't have this feature. Now I'm going to fly up the drone with GPS positioning. You'll see how stable it will be in the air. And then I will fly up another drone and you'll see how it moves in the air. Now the drone has GPS signal enabled and it is positioning itself thanks to the GPS signal. Even if there is wind, it will be stable in the air. I'm not even touching the remote control and it's there in the air. Now I'm flying another drone up. And you can see that this drone will be always drifting. Even if you calibrate it manually, it will be drifting a little bit. But when it's windy, it will be drifting a lot actually. So that's the difference. And let me show you the gimbal feature. If you can see, the gimbal, when I turn the drone, will move. It will always stay horizontal. So it is stabilized mechanically, but now new technology allows not to have this gimbal, but internal mechanisms like gyroscopes help to stabilize the picture as well. So you'll just need to read the specifications of the drone to understand what technology is used. Now let's talk about safety. I'm flying this drone here. And although this drone is really nice and has GPS positioning, it's not safe. Its design is not safe. Let's see what happens if it touches a banana. As you can see, this banana was cut. Imagine this is your finger. It would cut you really bad. So this design is not really good. So imagine this is your hand or your finger. It cuts you really bad. You see the banana is cut in many places here. So this could happen to your finger or your hand. And now I'm going to fly up the drone, which has safe design. And as you can see, there's nothing the drone can hit you with. So it's just this easy. You can't really get damage out of this drone. I mean, you can touch it, no problem here. I'm touching it and no problem here. Of course, it's good not to be too close to the drone anyways, because if something happens to the propellers, they may fly out. They may fly out into your face. Always be careful with the drones. But this is the design to go for, and there are drones with this design which has good quality. Also, what makes this design different is that if it hits the obstacle, for example, tree branches, it will probably not fall down. It will be able to fly out of that zone. Let's see. So imagine you are flying into the tree accidentally. If you don't have this design and the propellers hit the branches, probably it will immediately fall down. This one has some possibilities not to fall. You see, it's flying inside of the branch and there's nothing happening there. So you have some time to get away from the branches, from the leaves and other obstacles. That's a very good advantage, and the chances of losing the drone are less in this case. You see, it's so difficult for this drone to fall because it has this kind of design. And it flies out successfully out of this zone. Now let's see what happens with a regular drone which has the propellers exposed. Now let's see what will happen with the drone which has propellers disposed in the air with no protection. It's just falling down, as you can see. And this way you lose your drones actually. Immediately as the drone hits the branches, it falls down on the ground. And in some cases the drone may get stuck in the branches on a tree, and you may not have any possibility to get it back, because it could get stuck at a very high point on a very thin branch, at such a point where you cannot get to, so you lose your drone. So even a very expensive drone which would have this kind of a design with propellers exposed, you may lose the drone easily. And another good feature to have is when you have a remote control with a screen that feeds video from the drone's camera. This way you don't depend on the applications. Now the applications get outdated, the phone operational systems change and they stop supporting those applications, and you always have to have a phone and carry them with you and have a remote control and phone together to control the drone. This is not very comfortable. So when you have a screen in the remote control, you don't depend on those apps. The Wi-Fi connection is established with the drone. The video feed comes to the screen. In this case, the connection would be more stable. You won't depend on Wi-Fi standards, because sometimes drones may support or not newer Wi-Fi connection standards. And controlling drones becomes easier because you have the screen and the controls on one device. You concentrate only on one device. And the last thing is the battery, of course. At least the battery should last 15 minutes, so you can get more or less time to fly up, fly around, make some pictures, record some videos. I would say minimum 15 minutes should be okay. The more the better.